NBC Elmira presents a very special interview with one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, 1996 Olympic gold medalist, WWE Hall of Famer, and the current general manager of Monday Night Raw, Kurt Angle.
Well, I think the first, most important part is you never beat addiction. If you're an addict, you're always an addict. It's how it's just like anything else. You have to change your life. You have to change your lifestyle and continue on. It's my family has a long history of addiction, and my father was an alcoholic. He was in a construction accident, obviously under the influence of alcohol, and it cost him his life. My college, or my Olympic coach, Dave Schultz, was shot and murdered by John DuPont, who was also an addict, very, very much an addict, always high on cocaine or drunk, and I believe that's why it cost Dave his life. My sister Leanne died of a heroin overdose in 2003. That was probably the toughest thing I've ever dealt with, and that's right around the time when I started taking my pills. And then 3 years ago, my brother David killed his wife. They were both high on drugs. So it's been a long journey for me, a very sobering one. The way I started is I broke my neck for the second time, and I was introduced to painkillers in 2003. The first one I took, I loved it. Some people have a positive, have a positive feedback on it, and some have negative. Some people get sick. It made me feel invincible. It made me feel like, it gave me a euphoric feeling. It made me feel like nothing could hurt me. And at that point in my life, I continuously broke my neck over the next 2 years, 4 times in 2 years. And it just felt like I was, at that time I was considered the best wrestler in the WWE, in the world, best pro wrestler. Obviously, I'm one of the greatest amateur wrestlers of all times, but to be in that category is one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time. Only being in the business for 3 years, it was a great feeling. I felt like it was being taken away from me. In '96, I broke my neck, and I was not cleared by any doctors, and I remember that feeling, and I was getting the same feeling again 2003. So I just decided to medicate myself and go as long as I could till I couldn't go anymore. I really didn't even care about my health. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to go as long as I could go until I broke down like an old car. WWE didn't know about it. Back then they weren't testing like they do now. I went from 1 painkiller to 2. When 2 didn't work, went to 4. And your body builds a tolerance. And after a while, you don't even want to get high anymore. You just don't want to have withdrawal effects. Mm-hmm. And I'm taking 65 extra strength Vicodin in a day 6 months after I started with my first pill. That's enough to kill a horse. Mm-hmm. Don't know how I'm still alive, but I hid it very well from the WWE, but I was in a serious predicament. And so over the next 2 years, when I broke my neck over and over again because I didn't let it heal, I just kept rushing back. Back then, you could go to your own doctor and talk them into getting cleared. Now in WWE, they have a great wellness policy. They have doctors that have to clear you. So I wish it was like that back then. The drug policy, the wellness policy that WWE has right now is incredible. And I think that if that was in line back then, I would have stayed in WWE and it would have saved my career, or it would have ended it. One way or the other, I would have been a better position than where I was when I left WWE. But Vince McMahon wanted to put me in rehab when I quit, and I said no, and I went to Impact Wrestling and kept taking the painkillers. And then I started on Xanax because I was anxiety for my neck. And then I started drinking alcohol because everybody there drank after the shows. Mm-hmm. So I was just pounding it and making horrible decisions. I had 4 DUIs in 5 years. My life was in turmoil. I got one divorce, and my new wife, Giovanna, she said, listen, I don't want your money, but if you're going to keep doing this and you're going to keep passing out every night, you're not going to be with me or the kids, I'm going to leave. I'm going to move with my parents, and you're going to lose your marriage and your kids. And that's when I decided to go to rehab. It didn't hurt that I just got hit with another DUI. So I figured, well, I'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone, as an addict thinks. I thought, I'll go in, it'll save my marriage, and and also help with my DUI cases. That's how I was thinking.
Right.
And when I got in there, I realized I had a really serious problem. I was no different than the heroin addicts that were shooting up every day. The difference between me and them is I had money and they didn't. I really believe that. I believe that if I didn't have the money and I had to reduce the heroin, which is cheaper, I would have done it. I wanted the drug. I didn't want to stop taking the drug. It's crazy because I never took a drug in my life until I was introduced to painkillers in 2003. So it was, when I was in rehab, I realized how easy it was to stay clean in there. Once you go through your withdrawal, you go through detox, they have incredible structure. It's, you wake up early every morning, you do yoga, you go to breakfast, you can go work out if you want, exercise, then you go to class, then you go to lunch, then you watch videos, about educating yourself. Then you have more class, then you go to dinner. And the food is incredible. It's a great, healthy diet, and they just take care of you. You sleep 8 hours a night. The issue with that is when you get out, you end up in the real world, and it's not like that anymore. You're in your dream place where you can relax and get away from the real world. Now, 30 days later, you have to enter this disastrous, crazy ass world, and how do you stay clean? You have so many triggers. You have so many temptations. You drive by the bar you used to drink at. You drive by the pharmacy where you got your pills. You have a lot of triggers, and it's really hard because there's no structure after rehab. The only thing you can do is go to AA meetings. And, father of 5, married, traveling all the time. It's really difficult to hit those AA meetings every single day. So I decided that if I was going to have structure for people in recovery, I'm going to start my Angle Strong initiative, and I'm going to have an app that helps people stay in recovery. That way they're engaged 24/7, and the app's incredible. I teamed up with Dr. Jonas, who was a recovering addict of 30 years, and we came out with this app, and we're trying to help people stay in recovery.
Wow, that's fantastic. So where can we find the app? Just go to a Google Play type thing and type it in, or go on the internet and search for it?
Either way, go to anglestrong.com, sign up for the app, or Google Play, go to the App Store. It's on there. It's Angle Strong. Of course, my website, we're going to start having a lot of things on there. What we're trying to do is we're trying to be the whole ball of wax. We're trying to give people information on AA meetings closest to you, rehab's best suited for you, positive daily messages. I do a monthly video call with everybody that's signed up for Angle Strong. So I talk to all the recovering addicts. We have an app that, if you sign up for the app, you check in every day, you answer the questions. You don't check in every day, your lifelines are notified. Your family, your loved ones, your sponsor, hold you accountable. And it's GPS enabled, so if you do relapse, we're going to find you. You don't check in for 3 days, we're going to go looking for you. So it's an incredible app that is going to really help save lives and keep people in recovery.
Wow, what a tremendous idea to keep people connected and to keep tabs and, like you said, have that accountability for one another. And thinking about all the things you've been through, I'm not a terribly religious guy, but I do believe in this. I do believe that God is never early nor late. And having your experiences from gold medalist, world champion in amateur wrestling, winning the worlds, down in Atlanta, and then going on becoming this major WWE and TNA and wrestling star. I think that just by listening to you today, I can very well tell that using the platform that you've been given to affect people and to influence people, your purpose is very clear in terms of helping others, and that's a special gift that I think you've been given. And mentally, for you, what do you think the greatest strength you have gained from wrestling has been in terms of conquering fears, overcoming obstacles, and things like that?
Well, I think that, I really, when I started wrestling at a young age, I wasn't good. I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of anxiety. I didn't like the one-on-one competition because I didn't want to hold myself accountable if I lost. I love team sports because it wasn't all my fault. I had to work very hard at changing that whole perception, and it has made me a much stronger individual. I still get scared and nervous over many situations, but when I get in that position, the best comes out of me. So I've been able to, motivate myself to get beyond my fears, get beyond the anxiety, and be at my best. But the only way that occurs is through persistence and practice, repetition. Nobody trained harder than I did, and I always believed that if you were the best prepared, you were going to have the best possible chance of winning. And so that I've always came out with that theory that if I prepared more than anybody and I trained harder, ultimately it would get me what I wanted, and it actually did.
Yeah, no question about it. And certainly the Olympic Games in '96, I remember watching that as a kid, watching, and it's so special. And but take us back to the hill in Pittsburgh, the 1 Mile Hill, which is so well known at this point. And for you to go right up that hill 1 mile each day, basically a pure incline, how did that redefine your mentality, your drive and vision to say, hey, you know what, this is my place. This is where the dreams are going to happen through something like this.
Well, the mile run was just the tip of the iceberg. I had a workout regimen where I would run 6 miles, and then I would do 20 to 200-yard sprints up that hill, and then I would run up and jog down. Then I would jump rope for about 30 minutes, and then I would do the 1 mile sprint up the hill. So it was it's called exhaust training. You train till you're exhausted and you can't stand, and that's when your training starts. I was taught by Dan Gable. Not that I did everything that Dan Gable did, because the guy is freaking crazy. I was out there for 3.5 weeks training with him and his Iowa wrestling team, and I thought, this guy's nuts. He definitely overtrains his athletes, but for some reason, they were always the most successful. So I took a piece out of his playbook and decided that I was going to push myself beyond my limit and get to that point where I felt sick and exhausted, and then I would continue to train. And once you get past that, most people have fear of getting tired and what happens if they do. When I got tired, I was still able to think properly. I was able to make decisions. I learned how to go through that exhaustion without losing myself. In college, I remember I lost a match my junior year against a guy that I beat so many times named John Llewellyn. I had a knee injury, but I let fear and fatigue get to me, and I cracked, and I lost that match. Mm-hmm. And I never forgot how I felt, mm-hmm. and I didn't want that feeling ever again, and I never did have that feeling.
Mm-hmm. And that's so important in wrestling, where they say, I was always taught that the match itself was 95% won mentally before you even stepped on the mat, and with all your training, with all your preparation, and to me, it's the greatest sport in the world. I out in the job that I'm working in now as a sportscaster, and I think that putting the extra time in really makes that difference in anything you do. And some people think man, go home, go to sleep. I said, no. These people that we do the stories on, they deserve my all. And certainly with you helping others in their drug addiction.
Yeah. I mean, you learn that through wrestling, yeah.
It really it changes you,
It does. I forgot to tell you, I didn't cut weight.
Oh, wow.
I was 11 pounds underweight at the Olympics. The reason I was able to train so hard is I didn't have to worry about my weight. I could have went down to 198. I could have done just as well there, but I figured I was going to make sure that I could do my 10 hours a day of training, and I wasn't going to let starving and cutting weight affect that. So I was willing to give up that muscle weight and 11 pounds. A lot of the wrestlers that wrestled at 220 pounds weighed 245 the next day. I was
Right.
209, and it didn't bother me. I've always wrestled guys bigger than me in college anyway, so I just wanted to make sure that I had all my I's dotted, my T's crossed, and that nothing was going to get in the way of my training. Training was the most important thing.
Hmm. Yeah, and honestly, when you're a little bit lighter than some of your competition, you can really have that, ability to focus on technique and then obviously your training,
Yeah,
which you certainly did, without question. Now, Kurt, just going to shift gears and talk about some WWE items here right now. And you joined WWE, and all these years later, you came back home. And how does it feel to be a Hall of Famer now? And looking back on your career, and your speech was definitely at the tops of the night with the milk at the end.
yeah. I I had some regret because I was just starting to get good when I quit WWE in 2006. I was just starting to come into my own where I was, you know, not that I didn't have incredible matches there. I did from, 2001 to 6, but I started really becoming a seasoned veteran 6 years into my career, and that was right around 2006. So I had a better career in TNA, unfortunately. And most of the WWE universe will never see those matches. But at the same time, I'm really happy that I had that kind of impact in 6.5 years of WWE, where they were inducted me in the Hall of Fame 11 years later. I didn't know if it was going to happen. I didn't know if WWE felt I put in the time to become a Hall of Famer, but obviously the fans spoke out, and the WWE, Vince McMahon, Triple H, thought it was appropriate to induct Kurt Angle as the main eventer in the 2017 Hall of Fame. So it made me feel really good. I didn't want to leave WWE. I wanted to stay in 2006, but I just couldn't keep going on
Hmm.
that schedule back then. Back then it was pretty rough.
Hmm.
We were on the road 280, 300 days a year. I was addicted to painkillers. Vince McMahon just found out right before I quit. I was having problems. They wanted me to go to rehab. I was in denial. I wanted to go part-time where I was only wrestling, at the TVs and pay-per-views.
Hmm.
And back then, they didn't issue part-times back then. Unfortunately, 2 years later, they started. So
Oh,
it kind
geez, yeah.
of sucked. Yeah, but the only ones that had part-time schedules were like Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, and they deserved it because they were already in the business 20 years.
Hmm.
I was only in it 6, so I understood, and I took it like a man. I got released, and I went to a smaller company to do lesser schedule, and I enjoyed my career in TNA, but there is some regret that I did leave. I wish I would have went to rehab, cleaned up, made a deal with Vince where I could go part-time. But here we are. No more regrets. I'm back. Hall of Fame. I'm the GM of Raw. Hopefully down the road they'll have me wrestle a few different times so I can retire the way I wanted to. So I'm looking forward to spending a few years in WWE and doing whatever they need me to do.
Boy, excellent, Kurt. And certainly the WWE universe is excited to have you back, and that goes without saying. And the big talk of the Hall of Fame this year was your speech and how it really stole the show, and the milk at the end, which people ask me about. I'm a big wrestling guy, obviously, and they said, "Man, that was one of the best things we've ever seen." And I said, and I think you said it best during your speech that your advice to some of the younger talent was, it's about creating memories, it's about creating moments, and the
Yeah.
milk, that was pretty awesome. What made you decide that, hey, this is the way I got to go out on this thing?
Well, if it were up to me, I want to drive a milk truck into the arena. Mr. Man said, no, that's a bit too much. Uh, I didn't prepare really like a lot for that speech. I just wanted to go with my feelings. I did want to do some of the things that the fans remember me for. I mean, they're always going to remember the matches, but you're right. The moments, a battle raps with John Cena and doing the sexy Kurt and, the milk thing. That's what fans remember most. That's what they cherish the most. And, that's a lot of the reason why they watch. They want to see those types of moments. So I wanted to give them something to remember. And unfortunately, I had to get that tuxedo dry cleaned so I could wear it at WrestleMania the 2 days later. We almost didn't get it back in time, but thank God we did.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. And as you said, that's something that people are going to remember. I think that'll be a hallmark moment, a highlight moment of when they do montages and speeches, 15, 20 years down the road. There's no doubt about that. And, um, you mentioned the Raw general manager spot. I mean, it's a new role, but certainly it's pretty evident. You can see your comedic timing out there right now. You're face to face with Braun Strowman, one of the baddest dudes in the game right now. And how's it going with this general management position? And how much fun are you having? What are we going to see from you here on out?
Well, right now, being the GM of Raw, I mean, it's not about me stealing the show. I could easily do that with my, the funny stuff that I do, but right now it's about these younger talent and making them. If we're going to do some funny segments, it's going to be about making sure that we focus on the younger talent in doing so. Can Kurt Angle go out and do the funny stuff and make the show more entertaining? Of course I can, but how beneficial would that be to creating the characters of the talent, the younger talent? So it's going to have to be a team effort. And right now we have such a serious program between Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. It's really difficult to do the funny stuff right now. Mm-hmm. Until this program, comes to a head and, explodes. I think the Kurt Angle GM is going to be a little more serious right now. Mm-hmm. Do I want to be? No, but I know what I have to do to make the product better. And right now, that's the best decision. Eventually, we'll get to the funny stuff.
Excellent, Kurt. And we're looking forward to that in the coming weeks on the USA Network. And so this is the final part of our interview today. And thank you so much for joining us here on NBC here in Elmira. And it's called our rapid fire segment, and not a word association, but kind of short answer. I guess the hot seat, so to speak. We can put you in the hot seat. But
all right,
excellent. And here's this question here: greatest WWE moment for you?
The milk truck, Sacramento, California, Raw, 2001. When I drove in and I hosed down Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Alliance. That was. What an incredible moment. It was obviously a spoof of Austin's beer truck, but it really it gave my character and my persona that top babyface, main event status. Those kind of things, those kind of moments can do that for you, and that's what the fans love, and they want to laugh, they want to have a good time, and at that point, that defined me as the top guy in the business.
Boy, I tell you, great memories with that. The cowboy hat too was pretty special that you wore.
Yeah, no, I was more of a Stone Cold Steve Austin sidekick at that time, but I really enjoyed doing that. The reason we did that is because we were both injured, and Vince didn't know what to do with his two top guys. He said, "Damn, let's put them together. Let's make funny stuff." So it was a great little spiel we did.
Fantastic, Kurt. And now your dream match opponent could be on the existing roster or maybe from the past.
Daniel Bryan. I love his wrestling ability. I think that he is one of the best I've seen in a long time. I obviously wrestled AJ Styles, but never on the WWE platform. Love to have a main event against AJ Styles at WrestleMania. That'd be something pretty cool.
All right, Daniel Bryan, one of the best out there. And next one, the "You Suck" chant. I mean, when did you just say, hey, you know what? Like, a great reaction. People are just going with this thing. It's not necessarily a negative, when everyone in the audience is chanting something.
No, it was, I spent 5 of my 6.5 years as a heel. So the "You Suck," and I told the fans, it's getting to me, stop doing it. And the more I said that, the more they did it. So when I was babyface, they still did it, and they loved doing it. It just, it's one of those things that I don't think, a lot of, Vince tried to change it. I tried to change it. It's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things I think now that the fans do it out of respect, and it just sounds cool with my song.
Mm. I always thought it was. I was waiting for the time to be like you saying that, "Hey guys, quit talking about yourselves out there in that crowd," that type of thing.
Yeah. Well, Vince McMahon wanted me to point at my opponent when they were doing it.
Ah,
And
yeah.
I was like, yeah, I could do that, Vince, but I don't know if they're gonna actually go for that.
Don't know if they're
But
gonna buy it.
yeah, yeah.
Well, great, Kurt, and just a few more here on rapid fire. The greatest thing about being a wrestler.
The fans. I've never seen a more appreciative group of people that is global. Wrestling is mainstream. It's here to stay, and the fans are the greatest part about wrestling. I never take them for granted. I don't pass up an autograph or a photo of my fans. I know that I took this position. When you're a wrestler, when you're a sports entertainer, you're there and you're a celebrity. If you don't like the fans, if you don't like to be around them, then get the hell out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those people that knows that you need to appreciate it, because this doesn't happen to that many people, and you have a responsibility to enjoy the fans and for them to enjoy you, and you have a responsibility to respect them the same way they respect you.
That's perfectly said. I mean, certainly without the fans, the product, there is no product. No doubt about that. And
Definitely.
so, what do you want to be remembered for most as Kurt Angle, the performer?
The performer, I want to be known as being very entertaining, whether it's wrestling in the ring or doing what I do backstage or with my promos. I love the fact that I've had the ability to be very versatile. I think that's the toughest thing for wrestlers, is they feel like they're going to lose their legitimacy if they become too funny or too goofy. I never felt that way, but at the same time, I did have an Olympic gold medal that basically said, hey, when I'm in that ring, I'm a badass no matter what I do backstage. So it's one of those things where I want to be known as the most versatile wrestler in every category of the business. And whether I am or not, I'm going to give it a hell of a run till I'm done.
Well, we can't wait to see what happens, Kurt, here in the future. All right, just a couple more here. Favorite match of all time? I mean, you've had so many, whether it was the Brock Lesnar WrestleMania match, the Iron Man matches, so many great sequences and programs for you. But if you had to pick your favorite match of all time?
Well, you always want to pick the WrestleMania matches, but and I usually do. But there was a match I had with Undertaker in 2006, No Way Out. We wanted that to be WrestleMania, but Vince McMahon did not want Undertaker to lose his undefeated streak, so we did it the month prior. That match, or 2003 Royal Rumble, Chris Benoit. I always tell wrestlers and fans, if you want to learn every facet of the business, and if you want to see what it's like to have the perfect psychology and perfect match, it doesn't get any more perfect than that match. 2003 Royal Rumble, Chris Benoit. There was one punch thrown in that 34 minutes.
Holy man.
It was wrestling. It was submission trade-off. It was exactly what the wrestling rule book says that you need to do. It had everything in it that any match. And I'll tell you this, Triple H came to me that night. I was only in the business 3 years. And said, you just raised the bar. Because he knew I structured that match and I called that match with Chris. And it made me feel like, wait, this guy's telling me that I'm the guy right now. And I've only been in this business a few years. It was, when Triple H tells you that, it's the truth. And he made me feel like that I was in the right place, that I made the right decision, that I was in the right career.
Boy, what a compliment from the game himself. Greatest pro wrestler of all time, from past, present, or future?
Gosh, dang. It's so hard to pick just one. I'm a big believer in what Ric Flair did as a heel. I'm a big believer in how Bret Hart, technically, how he was the best. But Shawn Michaels, when you look at every facet of the business, from promo skills to wrestling to being entertaining, and not only that, but doing his matches and his promos and hitting them at the right time. You have time cues. Your promo might be 8 minutes long. They want you to hit it at 8 minutes. Shawn Michaels had timing like nobody else. He could close up a promo or a match on the second of when it turned 8 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever it had to be. The guy had more of a feel for the business than anybody I've ever seen.
Man, he is certainly a special performer and got, I believe, a multi-time WWE Hall of Famer now is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And last part right here, Kurt, is if you could do one thing in the WWE, what would that be?
Now?
Yeah, I guess now, knowing now.
Honestly, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I would love the main event WrestleMania one more time. I still have a lot left in my tank, but that's the decision of the WWE. And, I have to respect what decisions they want to make with me. I've been out of the WWE for 11 years, almost 12, and it's one of those things where they have to decide if they want to utilize me as a wrestler, and if they do, what direction they want to go. But I would love the main event WrestleMania one more time.
Boy, with the way things have gone, with the Goldbergs, the Stings, so many guys, getting in that main event picture, like they say, anything can happen in that business. And Kurt Angle, we want to say thank you for taking the time to talk to us here today. It's been awesome. It's been exciting. From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Mount Lebanon, to Clarion, gold medalist, and then WWE Hall of Famer. It's been quite a career. And but like they say, I remember Roddy Piper saying that, being a Hall of Famer doesn't mean there's a period on the end of it. It means, there's something coming next. And, that always something that stuck with me. So,
thank you.
But Kurt Angle, thank you so much. And, hopefully our paths cross again down the line soon.
I hope so. Thanks, man.
Yep, you're welcome, Kurt.